is Bella Talks. I'm your host, Kay Bella, and here we talk about fitness, fashion, finance, and life. Triple FL. Today's guest, I have, y'all may know him from 6-0, then he evolved into Hot 6. Now he is Man versus Pet. So we have Charlie Sturgis on the show.
How you doing, brother? Good to be here. Good to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, born and raised Fort Myers, Florida. Attended Fort Myers High School. I graduated. Went off.
He claimed he played football.
Yeah, I played some football. You know, went off to college. Got some college education, some life experience. Moved back to Fort Myers in 2005, 2006. Moved back.
Okay. The timeline is a little shaky.
2005?
It was about 2005. So, you started off rapping, and now you changed it like all the way around to pest control. So, why the change?
Well, music had always been a part of my life since I was a kid, of course, growing up in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. So, you know, music has always been a part of my life, and I've always been real passionate about it. So, yeah, I did music for a long time, had some success, you know, learned a lot, and moving back to Fort Myers in 2005 after a stint of college and music and doing whatever I wanted to do in life. You know, I came back home and I had to find some stability. You know, I had to create a foundation, and I got a job. One of my friends got me on a job at Truly Nolan Pest Control. I learned it. I learned their craft on their expense, and then several years after that, I ended up opening my own pest control company because I understood the ins and outs of the business, and it's also a lucrative business. And you know, it's a business that I'm pretty much by myself in the truck, you know, so I can still enjoy my music and whatnot.
You did say that music was always in your life because, you know, you were born in the 80s, and that's like, you know, the big music era.
Right.
So what triggered your like love for music?
Well, I was raised next door to Sammy Watkins, so shout out to Sammy Watkins, all the Watkins family. And at the tender age of 5, 6, Sammy Watkins and Fat Junior and the boys from all the neighborhood, I was born and raised in Fort Myers State. They put me on DJ Quick. DJ Quick was kind of one of the first artists that I listened to. I liked him, and then I just got absorbed into the whole, you know, the whole newness of hip hop that was coming back then. You know, the storytelling, you know, the big chains, the videos, you know, the grittiness of it. So, and also my sisters, I got 2 big sisters. They were in a breakdancing crew. my sister's 9 years older than me. So they had a breakdancing crew called the East State Rockers. So,
wow. Does anybody know about this breakdance staple in East State?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, okay.
We used to go down. They used to go down and battle the neighborhoods. You know, from Harlem Lake and the projects. You know, they would have dance offs. You know, in the middle of the street on cardboard. And I was 5, 6 years old watching them do the spins and watching them, you know, spin on their heads and all that. So, you know, hip hop was just kind of like.
It's giving me Brown Sugar.
Nah, well, hey, you know, love and hip hop.
Right.
But,
oh my goodness.
So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of what it was. I didn't actually start doing my own music until about, I want to say maybe 12 years old. I was in a group, me, Larry Cheeseborough.
You talking about Insurance Man Larry Cheeseborough? Oh, wow.
Insurance Man Larry Cheeseborough, Michael Matthews, and Shannon Royal, which is, you know, got the locksmith company and all that. So we all were in a group called The Fellas. Michael Matthews' big sister, Shavala was our manager, you know. And we did that for a little bit, and you know, and just went on from there. Talent shows at what's it called? Talent shows at the Rec.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where it started. High school, you know, I got a little more into, you know, honing my skills, and, you know, just knowing the business of music and knowing who was hot and who was not, and how they got there and where they started, and all the stuff that actually surrounded it, you know. And you know, but I didn't really have a story, you know, like these days everybody got a rough story, you know what I mean?
Right.
Broken household and this and that. So I didn't really have that story, so I was always more like hip hop rapper about my style.
Right.
And, you know, and this and that, you know, so you know, it's just different coming out of Florida, you know.
You said that you had to get stability with pest control, but why pest control? Even though I got a job with pest control, why would you want to use that to go into your entrepreneurship?
Well, first of all, at the end of it, pest control was something that they gave me, and when I say they, I mean the system, I mean, you know, the atmosphere, you know, whatever, the vibes. Pest control was what I got. I got educated at their expense.
Right.
Truly Nolan has a educational program they send you to Orlando where you go to like a bug college, you know, and you learn this and that. They have walls open so you can see active bugs. So they gave me education. So like I said, a few years, I didn't start doing it on my own until a few years later because, you know, I quit. You know, I had some stuff going on, so I quit doing pest control for Truly Nolan. Mm-hmm. However, 3 years went past, and I tell you, I had at least 20 people ask me during those 20 years, during those 3 years, you still doing pest control?
Been really good, but we do got to pay bills. If you like what you are watching, please subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell. Also, go visit my website to get my merch and my apparel at www.crazycausesandsmore.com. Back to the show.
I need you. Are you still doing pest control? And at first I was like, nah, I don't do that no more. I don't mess with no pest control no more, man. You know, I'm getting money now. You know?
Right.
But then by that like third year, I remember Tyrone Perkins. He gave me a call. Chuck, you still doing pest control? I'm like, no, Tyrone, but what you need, man? What you need? He said, I got a house, my people house. I got a house in PC and it got termites in it, and I don't know, man. They talking about $4,000, $3,000 to treat it. So I got a light bulb in my head, you know. So I'm like, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna check you out. Now at this point, I was in a Monte Carlo. So I went over and I checked it out, and the walls was open, you know, and you could see subterranean termites, drywood termites had eating the house up. So I didn't have no equipment though. I didn't have a truck, I didn't have a sprayer, I didn't have a power sprayer in the back of the truck.
So what made you go over there with no equipment, no nothing? You just went over there just to see what was going on?
See what was going on, you know. I had a little capital in case I needed a little equipment, but if he had already gotten a quote for $4,000, $3,000, that let me know immediately that, okay, so this could be lucrative, you know what I mean? So go see what's going on. So once I seen it, you know, I wouldn't do this now, but I bought a pressure washing machine, a portable one. I put the termiticides where the soap went, and I had to keep refilling it with termiticide. You know, it took me about 6 hours to do, but I got it done. I charged him $1,500. Took that $1,500 and I went and bought my first truck.
Okay.
So once I got the truck, I still wasn't licensed at that point because I hadn't been in the field for 3 years.
Right.
So in order to get licensed, you know, I had a setback. They told me I needed to work for another company for at least a year and get at least 100 jobs signed off by a certified operator, which is like, you know, a company, somebody else out. So I'm like, wow. So I got a small roadblock. So I started hunting for jobs then because I'm like, well, I got this truck now. So I got a job at Home Team Pest Control. I worked at Home Team for a year. Long story short, they didn't want to sign off on me to take my test. So I had to go around them and contact their inspector for the Department of Agriculture. And he said that was absurd, that they didn't want to give me my certifications. He went down there and fined them for some violations that they had, and he called me and let me know that he approved me for my termite and pest control exam. So at that point, I went and got my license. I failed the test the first time, went back the second time, got one of the highest scores in the class, and just been doing it ever since. From that point, I became a member of the Minority Business Enterprise, my 8A business, and this is the only way that you could, get noticed as a business in your city or in your town. You have to become a vendor. You have to get your business tax receipts, your state, your county, your city, and it's a lot. It's a lot at first, especially doing pest control. As far as I know, in 2014, I was the first, African American pest control company owner.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people were coming to you, and not like, especially in the hood, everybody was like, "Where's Chucky number? I need him to come over to my house." I'm like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that was next. Just trying to, how do I make myself available to the people? How do I let the people know that this is what I'm doing? So boom, it takes me all the way back to being a rapper for 15, 20 years.
Okay.
I promoted myself. I owned it. I owned being a rapper. Nobody had to tell me, go rap and you gotta. I owned it. So I applied that same thing to my pest control company. I owned it. I promoted it like it was my artist. I pushed it like it was my artist. And we go 7 years later, still in business. Come a long way.
Big things, big moves. Besides the pest control, I know you have different businesses. What made you take on more business? Pest control can get very, people want you to over there. It can get very time consuming. So what made you want to pick up on the other businesses, and what are those other businesses?
Well, as a lot of people know in the city, my mom, she's been in the hair business 40 years, and she owned a salon, all my years growing up through high school. So when she was getting ready to retire, she didn't want to leave the building. She was connected. She was just connected to the business, connected to her salon.
Right.
So everybody know my mom, Maxine, Maximum Hair Care Salon. She definitely a pioneer in the city when it comes to hair. So when she was getting ready to retire, we had a talk, and I decided that I would, not knowing nothing about the hair business, nothing about hair, nothing about booths or anything, I decided that I would take over her salon business. So boom, I get in the salon business. So now, here I am. I got a pest control company. I just took over my mom's salon. It's got to work, because now I just took on overhead. Now I got rent at the salon. I got water bill, light bill. So now I gotta generate revenue in it.
Right.
And same thing as pest control. Same thing as rap. I dove in it. I owned it. This is what I do. I got chairs for rent. I got booths for rent. And I got a pretty good response. And Elevate Salon Studio was born in 2016. A lot of the best stylists in the city, in the area, they all came and did businesses with me. They stayed with me a year, some of them 3 years, 4 years longer. And they went on to own their own salons and went on to do their own thing and own their own suites. And that's just was the concept, elevate. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around no employees. I don't want to be around no workers, no followers. I need to be around all bosses, everybody that can hold their own. And that's what I wanted. And that's what I kind of developed today, turning the salon into salon suites, because now it's not just the open salon.
Right.
And I feel like, while we're talking about it, just the salon vibe, just the open salon, I think that's kind of old school. I don't see a lot of people doing that anymore.
Right.
People geared towards more to the suites.
Right.
So.
Yes, because when we go into the salon, we do not want everybody looking at our head before it gets done. So yes, that's very old school. It's kind of like kitchen beautician. So now everybody wants to sweep where it's more private and the focus is on you. So yeah. So what can we expect from you in the next year?
The next year? Well, I got a 5-year plan right now. But in the next year, as far as Man versus Pest goes, you should see another truck on the road, and just organizing the company to provide better service to the people. Because it get crazy, me being one man, one truck.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, putting up over 100K a year, just one truck. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it get a lot. I gotta do scheduling, do the follow-ups, the finances, etc. The licensing renewal, it seems like it come every 2 weeks. You know, etc. etc. So within the next year, I should have another truck on the road. I should have somebody else, you know, like me, that want to own it, that want to dive head first, and you know, put them in a truck and just like I said, be more organized for the people. Now, as far as Elevate Salon Studio Management, I plan to have another building of suites. I plan to keep them full, just like I have since last October. You know, got a 10 suites in it. All of them been full for the last year. So, you know, I mean, I'm 40 plus, so the stuff that I'm doing now is what I plan on doing the next 5-10 years, you know, until I'm done. You know, I'm not touching too many new ventures or jumping out doing too much new stuff. You know what I mean?
Just taking that and you trying to just grow with it.
Level that up to the highest point.
How can people get in contact with you if they need your services, or if they're looking for a spot for hair or what have you?
Well, as far as pest control goes, you can always find me at www.manversuspestpd.com. I'm on pretty high in the ratings on Google, so Google Man versus Pest Control in Fort Myers. And social media, Man versus Pest on Instagram and Facebook. And you can follow me there and see me post, you know, dead rats and severe roach infestations, which I know people like looking at. I get a lot of views on those.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That is disgusting. Yeah. Skin crawling. Gross.
And as far as the suites, find me on social media. I'm Charlie Sturgis on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm Charlie Sturgis, I believe. And
I will have his handles on the bottom of the screen, so everything that he said, you'll be able to see it, and also you'll be able to see it in the caption if you would like to get in contact with him. To wrap it up, if you could say anything to the old Chucky, what would you say?
To the old Chucky, to the old me? How old are you talking about?
Man, just answer the question. 12, because you said you started rap at 12.
At 12?
So
now this might sound crazy.
Let's do Brown Sugar.
Okay. If I could talk to my 12-year-old self, now this might sound crazy. If I could talk to my 12-year-old self, I would snatch the microphone from him and snatch the hip hop from him, and I would probably give him a couple books to read. And give him some advice on trades and advice on how far education can get you in case that don't work. We got too many rappers right now. I mean, I know it sounds crazy coming from me because like I just told you, music is my life, it's my passion.
Right.
But we got too many 30 plus, 35 plus year old rappers out there that, and I ain't trying to discourage nobody, but you know, the community need more leaders. We need our 35, 40-year-old men to start thinking about leading the community, things like that. So my 12-year-old self would be up here telling a whole nother story if I could give him some advice from now, because I learned so much throughout my journey. And you probably ain't got enough memory to go back, for the whole story. But I definitely appreciate this interview and being able to get some stuff off my chest.
Well, we appreciate having you. So I just wanted to give you a little trinket to show our appreciation from Bella Talk. Yes. Wow. You get our Bella Talk shirt. shirt.
Okay.
And we appreciate you for coming on the show. If you have anything to say to Bella Talks, what would it be?
You gotta do these shows more often if I'm getting gifts.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No, definitely. I see what you're doing in the community. I definitely respect it. Keep moving 100 miles forward. You know, I like this right here. We need more of this to get the word out, to let people know that we got entrepreneurs, we got people that are getting paper in the city, that I don't gotta sell dope, you ain't gotta rap. There's a lot of stuff you can do to get it in. Y'all stay tuned to Bella Talks, and she definitely gonna put you up on game.
That's pretty much it for Bella Talks. Thanks for watching. I am Bella Talks, and we'll see you next time.
Hug it up.
No.